just grabbing little 60, 90-second clips of like every, because of this. But yeah, let's take a look at this real quick. Let me pull it up. Yeah, here you go.
Well, first of all, let me just, if you don't mind, just take a moment to do something that is unrelated to your question, which is I want to give a warm welcome to this creepy little DNC operative, Bernie-hating worm named Matthew Dimitri. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not, but he just like spends all his day trolling left-wing YouTube programs in order to take 60 to 90-second clips out of context and to create the most deceitful image of what people are saying possible. He loves your show in particular, and he loves me, so I'm certain he's probably watching live. Probably will watch 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night as well. And what's amazing about it is not just that there's a DNC operative who does that, because they're a dime a dozen, but really stupid and thoughtful and gullible kind of soft leftists think that he's presenting accurate clips and will therefore construct entire shows around them without bothering to check the context. I think like 50%, for example, of Sam Seder's show is based on this little wormy, creepy operative deceitful edits where they'll like do 30 minutes accusing you of the gravest things without even bothering to check the context. So I do want to welcome him. I think his work is very important. And since I know he's watching, I felt like it would be the courteous thing to do.
Anyway, if you're watching, what's up, whatever that guy's name is, but
Dimitri something, Glenn Greenwald. Shitting all over some fucking guy. Some asshole that he says apparently gets 50% of his content. Sam Seder gets 50% of his content from.
Yeah, I do think that
Matthew Dimitri.
Yeah, Matthew Dimitri. Again, I don't know who Matthew Dimitri is. But
I flipped through his Twitter, and Glenn that is a very accurate portrayal of what he does. It is just purely like him just grabbing little 60, 90-second clips of like every, popular, lefty
Matthew Dimitri
YouTube show, and just doing like simping.
Says Sam Seder versus Glenn Greenwald though, so where is...
It's gross stuff. It's gross stuff, yeah.
Talking about somebody that Sam...
Unfortunate, yeah, and I just took a quick glance at his Twitter, and that was confirmed immediately.
He's part of Sam's Twitterverse.
So I'm automatically a little bit sympathetic to the argument Glenn's making here and the frustration he's expressing, despite the fact that obviously I don't know if this dude is actually a DNC operative or not, and I don't know if Glenn was really being all that serious when he said that, but that was definitely the point of contention that Sam apparently.
Well, yeah, he called out his fucking show by name. I mean, fucking just straight up picked him up and put his head in a trash can, essentially.
And this might be slightly predicated on the fact that Sam Seder is still salty about being absolutely obliterated a couple years ago in a debate concerning Russiagate, where Glenn Greenwald trounced him. So check that out if you haven't seen it already. It's really worth going back and just reliving the glory that is Sam Seder getting destroyed by Glenn Greenwald. Anyway, but yeah, Sam says Glenn knows he's lying about Majority Report. To be fair, though, he wanted to talk about him for a fraction of the time he claims, but iTunes said if so, we'd have to reclassify our show as being about digital marketing and midlife crises, which is just a terribly constructed sentence, by the way. I can barely even keep track of my own thoughts.
I don't even know if he's trying to make a joke where he jumps on Glenn, but it just totally belly flops. It doesn't make any sense. Like, digital marketing, I don't understand that point. Obviously, the midlife crisis kind of makes sense, I guess, if you're like, oh...
Sounds like projection to me, though.
Dude, who's going through the midlife crisis here, bro?
Yeah, I remember Sam Seder, talking about his, divorce on air, a couple of years ago, so that's definitely some projection. But, yeah, so I just don't really... Yeah, like you said, I just don't really get... Do you understand, the joke that he's trying to make here, Kamali? Because I don't really get it.
No, I do not understand the...
He's saying Glenn Greenwald's going through a midlife crisis.
I think he's trying to make it... I think what it is, now that I'm looking at it again, and I've read it 10 times, this is a horrible movie, by the way, for somebody who, considers themselves to be a comedian. You need to understand punching, timing, things like that. These are, day one fucking comedy things. But anyway... I think what he's saying is that Glenn is just trying to, lick the finger and see what's popular, which I think it's a jab at, people calling Glenn, all right. And certainly I'm not in agreement with all of Glenn's Twitter takes.
Sure. Yeah.
But, that being said, I think his journalism is I think we should say probably some of the fiercest.
Let's just run for a minute.
The surveillance state of imperialism, but also of censorship in general. So,
They've done real valuable work.
Way more than Sam Seder ever has. I'm not fucking shit on Sam Seder for what he does. Glenn Greenwald has done way more valuable work than I ever will hope to.
If Lula becomes president of it's going to be because of, work that Glenn Greenwald did, all right? So I heard a little bit there, but not anymore. I'm not getting
Okay, we're cool then. My bad.
Yeah. So I can't really confirm, what the status of the majority report is anymore because I can no longer stomach 5 minutes of the majority report anymore. I have not watched it since Michael Brick's passing. Really, I just cannot sit through, and especially once Jamie Peck was gone. I have there's no content there for me anymore. So I just
I watch it sometimes to see if I can mine any material to react to on this show, but that's about the only use left for the majority report. And you're absolutely right, especially after Jamie left, there's really no point. And I remember we even had you on when that happened to break it down and had a really good conversation about how it was basically an unsalvageable wreckage in her wake. But yeah, I do think it's funny just how often it triggered Sam is about this. About getting called out, and I do think that part of this has to do with him being destroyed in that debate. I really do think that affects people's egos more than some would let on. If you have this kind of deep-seated resentment towards someone who embarrassed you, I do think that often ends up coloring people's analysis and reactions going forward, and letting personality get involved over just honest analysis. I think we saw that,